Hey guys, welcome back to Seller Sessions. Today I bring in Brandon Young. How you doing?
Oh, excellent, man.
Excellent. Do you want to tell the audience a little bit of background on yourself?
Yeah, so I am a private label seller. I've been selling on Amazon for over 4 years, three of which has been private label. We're exclusively private label now. When we first started out, we tried the wholesale model, the reselling model, and it just wasn't as sustainable for us. We saw Amazon moving in a direction where they were protecting brands, where they were blocking SKUs, and our business would start to disappear overnight because we could no longer sell a product. And I was dating my wife, who happens to be Chinese at the time, my now wife. And so I looked at her and I said, why are we not doing private label? We need to hop on a plane and go to China and figure out what this private label thing is all about. So we listened to a bunch of podcasts. We looked at YouTube videos, and we tried to figure out on our own. And it took us a little while to really understand what we were doing. We lost a little bit of money here and there, and then eventually we solved it. And so we've been scaling super aggressively since then. We've got 7 brands, 3 different Amazon accounts. We did 6 million last year, and we're aiming for 12 million this year.
Nice. And you've got, didn't you say in the next couple of months you're launching 50 products?
Yeah, we have well over 50 products in our pipeline. So in the next 3 months, we have 50 of those that should go live, and maybe another 20 the following 60 days.
And them 50 products, just for instance, are they like close related product families with variations? Or are we talking,
variations wise, we're in the hundreds. But products, these are parent listings. So we have several. For example, we have 2 different toy brands. So we have an educational one. We have a basic toy brand. Mm-hmm. So we have 30 of those are probably just between those 2 toy brands. And so we just spent a few weeks in China. We were wandering around some showrooms in Shantou, and we were able to look at thousands and thousands of toys from thousands and thousands of factories in one area. It was kind of like going to a private showroom from factories. It was really fantastic. And what we were able to do is pull the samples into a private room, open them up, compare them to each other, play with them, and then decide. So I'm on a laptop doing research, and my wife is there playing with toys. I stopped and took many pictures just because it was funny watching her, play with slime, for example. So, so we were able to identify quite a few products that look promising, and so we're just in the process of repeating what we do to prepare for launch and the research to make sure they're good products.
Which brings us on to the point today. The basic that we're going to be talking about is your methods for you do for keyword research, yeah?
Yeah, absolutely. So, you have, what do you do in a situation where you've got, 100,000 SKUs or 100,000 products from 12,000 factories that you see in a matter of a week? Like, how do you identify which ones to do, right? If you look at any given one of them, there's competitors selling them. And so if you're not doing the research properly, it's very easy to choose the wrong products. And I think that product selection by nature is the most important part of our success. And so
anyone's success. At the end of the day,
anyone's
the best.
Success.
You can be great at PPC, but if you've got a shit product, you're dead in the water.
Yeah, 100%. And I see it all the time where people pick highly competitive products where the markets have already passed them. Like, there's life cycles of products. All the sellers selling them are really good at Amazon or already saturated on it. So we do some really in-depth keyword research, and we have a unique way of giving products a rating to determine how much opportunity is there and what the risk is for doing a product.
Cool. Well, let's get into that. Do you want to give us a walkthrough of that?
Yeah, absolutely. So the way that we do it is we will look at the competitors and to get an understanding of which keywords they're getting their sales through. So we would look at as many as like 10 competitors, and we will do what's called a reverse ASIN. So when we do a reverse ASIN, we will understand every single keyword that they're indexed for. Mm-hmm. But we don't necessarily care about the indexing, because just because they're indexed for a keyword doesn't mean it's a good keyword. We have to understand exactly the keywords they're getting their sales through. So what are the relevant keywords for those products? And so if you only look at one competitor, you're only getting a snapshot of that one seller. Yeah. And what happens a lot of times is a lot of the sellers aren't very good at Amazon. So And ideally in a market that you're entering, they're not very good at Amazon. So what happens is there might be 40 or 50 good keywords to sell a product on, but one seller might only be on 10 of them. And so what we do is once we look at the top 10 sellers and we compile a list of all those keywords that those sellers are getting sales from, we're able to get a what we call a master keyword list. And then this master keyword list, we usually narrow it for identifying whether a product has opportunity. We usually cap it at like 500 exact searches and up. So if there are less than 10 keywords with only 500 searches and up that are good, that are relevant, we consider that product very high risk with low opportunity.
Yeah.
And the reason being is because any Joe Schmo or anyone that has tried Amazon, knows how to do PPC, knows how to do a giveaway, can get lucky and target those same keywords. And you're going to have every player in the market and everyone launching that product targeting the same keywords. And it's going to be very difficult to win. And it's going to be very difficult to maintain your rank as you're constantly getting bombarded with other sellers doing launches. And so we feel that those products represent a shorter life cycle with very little opportunity, and we avoid them at all costs.
Yeah.
And so the same is true where if a product has between 20 and 40 exact relevant keywords with exact at least 500 exact searches, then what we're going to do is we're going to consider that like a medium opportunity product. And that might be something we'll look at if the sellers aren't very good, which means once we look at those 40 keywords, for example, or 30 keywords, if only one or two of them are on more than 50% of those 30 keywords, meaning first page of those 30 keywords, then we would consider that a medium to low risk product and one with great opportunity. We would actually go after a product like that. So
can I ask you a question? Do you calculate the grandfathered in products as well? Do you look at the timeline that they've been launched on that product and look at the volume of the keywords and then cross-reference that with the other competitors, just with above 500 search volume per month, but they are structured in such a ways that they've got most of those search terms within the top 30 places, they're ranked for those. Do you weight those against the ones that, maybe not been around as long?
Yeah. So generally you'll see that play out in the form of reviews. And so, and when we do look at how long something's been on the market and how established it is, because if something is established in a good position on a keyword, they're gonna have more staying power generally. But at the end of the day, if you have a better offering and you're going to convert better, you can dethrone almost anybody on Amazon. So offering a better value and a better looking listing that's going to convert better will often be enough to disrupt the market. But we don't want to throw ourselves into a position where we're specifically targeting products that are higher risk. We treat our product portfolio like an investment portfolio, right?
Yep.
So we want a fair number of low-risk products. We want a fair number of medium-risk products, and we want very few high-risk products. So we still want to swing for the fences. We want those high-risk, high-reward, and we'll mix those in and sprinkle those in. But for the most part, we're going after low-hanging fruit. So we're identifying those products where maybe only one seller is like what you're talking about. They were the market leader, the first to the market. They just managed to do it. Or they're very good at Amazon. We see oftentimes there's a product that I did a class on where I just do live examples, for example. And I found a product where the leader in this specific product niche was doing, and I would mention what it is, but one of my students is actually going to do the product, so I don't want to spoil it for him. But the leader was doing 12,000 units a month in the season, and now he's doing 6,000 a month. The second best seller is a major brand doing 3,000, and then no one else was doing 2,000. So just the reason for that is that when you look at it, there were 75 good keywords above 500 exact searches, and the leader was on 70 of them, on the first page of 70 of them, with a top 5 position on most of them. Yeah. So that one seller knew how to do Amazon properly and target keywords and mine those keywords and figure out how to get on them. And then every other private label seller was having mediocre success at best. And so that's a trap a lot of sellers can fall into too when they're trying to, if you don't understand how to do the keywords, target them, or anything like that, you can't properly determine how many units you need to order. Because how are you determining that? You're just guessing based on how your competitors are doing. But if you don't know how they're getting their sales, how do you do it? So everything stems from the keyword research and looking at the competitors so that you know pretty much whether to even do a product, how many to order, how to optimize your listing. It just all goes hand in hand, but it starts with the research.
Yeah. What about in terms of relevance? How do you determine that? Because for me, that's everything now. You know, like you can put aside search volume. Obviously, you need keywords with search volume. You need to be able to operate and compete in that area. Look at your price, look at your product. But I've seen it so many times where people go after the wrong keywords. I call them neighboring keywords because they just focus in and around the search volume. What would you suggest that people do in terms of focus around relevance before you've ordered a product?
Yeah, I mean, 100%. So if you were to take all 10 of your top 10 sellers, or even you can go even deeper and do top 20, really there's no program that does more than 10 right now. So you would have to do a VLOOKUP and match it, but you can go much deeper even. And once you actually have all 10 of them and you're creating that master keyword list, and I do a formula in there. I do my own formula in that worksheet, which basically counts all of the competitors I'm looking at, how many of them are on the first page of the specific keyword. So if it's 10 out of 10, it's probably the most relevant possible. And that's going to be a really strong relevant keyword. And so then I sort by that number and I go all the way down from 10 to 0. Most of the zeros, if none of those, including the market leaders, are on the first page, and then that's generally not a relevant keyword at all. We can just throw those out. The ones, you tend to have a lot of neighboring keywords that people just happen to build on their listing and weren't very good. But you can go through and maybe pick some that only one guy figured out and maybe the others didn't. And so, but once you go from the 10s to the 9s, the 8s, the 7s, you could really understand what the relevant keywords are. And you really start to build a list of ways people are getting their sales and how people are searching for it. And then when you get down below 5 and 4, it starts to get a little shaky. You need to probably check and actually go search. And you need to look at things like variations. How much design parity is there in a product you're looking at? Are people buying things that are similar but bigger, similar but smaller, or just slightly related? And if your competitors aren't in the top 10 of that page, they might be in the first page, but maybe in the bottom of it. But everyone above them is selling a slightly different product. That's probably going to be a keyword you don't want to target necessarily. It's not going to be a very relevant keyword, because if they're not converting and they have the best offering so far, what makes you think you are, right? And like you said, the mistake you can make is doing a launch or marketing and wasting money targeting a keyword that you're not going to convert as well as other sellers. And then you're just going to waste your money because you're going to slide off that position. You're going to end up down where that other seller is, at the bottom of page 1, top of page 2, where you're going to be in no man's land making very few sales. Yeah.
Another question for you. You mentioned earlier on kids' products or toys. In terms of variations, how are you managing that? Because that's a different beast entirely. When you've got multiple variations, you've got to consider which ones you've got to market. PPC algorithm, when you're working with that, restrictions on the amount of variations that your Amazon's going to show impressions for.
Generally, when we launch variations, we're launching the most popular, unless it's something with sizes and you need all the sizes covered.
Yeah.
We have other non-toy products that have a lot of variations in the clothing category and wireless category, for example. And those we're launching just the most popular 2 or 3 colors with the most popular sizes to begin with.
Yeah.
And we know based on how well our competitors are doing, we can tell which of theirs are selling the best. And then we will launch our marketing campaigns, our PPC, and our launches targeting very specific size and color in order to get the rank up very quickly. Because we found that if you're doing a launch and you're giving people the opportunity to choose, you're splitting up your buying power and your conversions. It's going to take longer to rank. You're just going to spend more money on your marketing, your initial ranking. So we want to be very targeted, pick the most popular, and then add those other variations later. We've done that with many other products, like we have bags and things like that that we sell. And so we'll start with like a gray, and then we'll add the red, the brown, the blue, whatever. So that we know aren't going to sell as many units a day, but still add to the overall offering.
Yeah, no, it's good, because I think some people come out the gate and they've got like 6 or 7, maybe 10 variations. And then one of the biggest problems is to getting the visibility and the limitations what Amazon gives in terms of, how many of those are really going to advertise to your benefit. Yeah, I agree that if you're going to start with a product, start with a low amount of variations, learn the market, and then expand on that, because you've got to think about how you're going to operate to negate these negative keywords as well. Multicolor variation, size variations. You've got different seasons. So we like it. I call it. So you've got product groups. You've got the parent ASIN, and then you've got the variations underneath. And it's trying to work out how do you get that to distribute correctly, and how you structure your search terms that you're going to be using, and obviously the ones that you're going to negate off of each other because all the different size variations, etc.
Yeah, 100%. And so one of the pitfalls I see a lot of sellers make, and I get, with my students and everything, I'll dig in and I'll look at the PPC that they're doing or that a consulting company came in and did for them, for example. And I'll see that the company threw all of the variations of a parent into a PPC campaign. And it's just rotating through them. And then when you dig in, you're like, well, this color's got a 15% ACoS, but these others have a 40, 50, and 70% ACoS. And instead of focusing this keyword and this campaign on the one that's converting the best, you're shooting yourself in the foot. You're losing sales and you're costing yourself money. So it's also very important that if you're going to compete, you do it smart. If you're going to compete with yourself, that you do it in a smart way. Yeah. And that, like you said, there are many keywords and opportunities for targeting keywords that are very color specific or very size specific or very style specific. And those should be on those styles. And just understand immediately which one's going to convert best for which keyword, and then put your money behind that and cut those other ones off. And then you have to keep evolving. But yeah, it's definitely the kiss of death. I've seen sellers come in and start with 10 products, 10 variations of a product, and only order 100 of each. Yeah. and it's just they're not giving themselves a fair chance. They don't really understand how marketing works on Amazon or how to do launches or how to identify a strong product. There's just a really thick learning curve, which is part of the reason I guess I'm here, right, Danny?
Yeah, indeed. So what do you do when you get to that stage? You've got all your structured lists together, what you're planning to use. What happens when you've got that dreaded moment that some of the search terms are not appearing, you're not getting any impression share or anything else? How are you dealing with that?
Yeah, so it's all right. There's only two reasons, and when we're digging into the PPC, we've been spending a lot of time on PPC. I've really wanted to become an expert of sorts at it because there's so many new latest features and things going on with Amazon and the way that their offerings on PPC. And I've noticed that really no one's going to pay as much attention to your products as you, and no one, so I wanted to really learn it. So what I've learned is that we want to go really wide. Our keyword strategy and the way we win on Amazon, the way we're beating our competitors is because we're very wide. If there are 70 good keywords, we want to be on 70 of them. We don't want to be on 10 of them like every other average seller on Amazon. When we identify an opportunity, it's because the other sellers are not good at Amazon. And the reason that we beat them is because we are good at Amazon. And the reason we're good is because we can rank for most of the relevant keywords. So when we're targeting those keywords with PPC and with launches, and we're not seeing any impressions on the PPC side, it's two reasons. It's either your bid is too low or your indexing isn't right. Okay? Amazon doesn't think that it's a relevant term for you, and that could be a real issue. So you need to build. We've gone in and we will often repeat the most relevant keywords and those keywords in exact phrase form in our backend. Yeah. We will rewrite our bullets a month into launch, 2 months into launch, because we're not seeing the impressions of the keywords we really want. And so a lot of people are very afraid to go in and make changes to their listing because it can kill your indexing. But we feel like if you do it in a sniper sort of way where you notice a keyword that you should be getting impressions for that you're not, then we go in, we rewrite it, we make sure it's in there, and then we'll even generate some sales through it with like a 2-step URL, rebate key, giving away some with a particular URL or to a launch list. We will crank the PPC much higher. We'll let Amazon know this is relevant. We want this keyword. Yeah,
makes sense. Cool. I think we covered quite a lot here at the moment. Is there anything particular you want to cover before we go?
No, I think I'm just happy to be on, man. I'm a big fan of the show and I've been listening. So, if there's anything anyone, wants to reach me, I'm reachable on Facebook. I'm basically, my group is Seller Systems, and I'm always happy to help. if I can.
Sounds good. And the other thing is, we don't normally do plugs on the show, but this one's a little bit different because I like Elon Musk, and you're giving away a Tesla. So I don't. Now, most people, it's like affiliate links or give you a discount off of this, but you're giving away a fucking car. So I don't mind you talking about that on the show. Do you want to give a little bit of background on what's happening with his?
Oh man, so I'm a huge fan of Elon. I'm a fanboy as well, and I think that what he's doing is changing the world. And last night when this airs, I don't know, but he just revealed the Y, the newest model. And he said, he showed a graph that said what they were saying about electric cars when he first launched in 2008, right?
Yeah.
And then everyone was like, it's a fraud. It'll never work. No one wants to do it. And then he posted a bunch of what they're saying now. And it says, GM is all in. Ford is all in. Volkswagen's all in. Audi Group is all in, right, on electric. And so he said particularly that what his goal with starting Tesla was to see how quickly he could move to sustainable energy and move the car industry in that direction. And he felt that Tesla has been a major success simply because of that. And that's why he opened up the patents. Yeah. And that moved me, right? So I went and bought my second Tesla. And so I need to get rid of my first one. It's a 2015. It's a little used, but it's in beautiful shape. Still a Tesla. It's still awesome and really fast. And so I could sell it for $40,000, but I figured, you know what? Why don't I change someone's life? And I'm all about helping people take that next step or motivate them to take that next step to start an Amazon business. There's no better business in the world to be in. I think you agree with that. Yeah. The ROI, the opportunity to have your own business and to do it from anywhere in the world. So I have a masterclass that I teach. And what I'm doing is by April 2nd, if I have 200 students sign up, I am going to gift the Tesla to one of them. And it's just a $200 masterclass that walks through my entire process, my research methods, how I source, how I do my keyword analysis, how I do my analysis. And, hopefully that will be enough to change 200 lives, but it'll definitely impact someone as they're driving away in the car. Now, if they sell the car and take the money and start a private label business, become a millionaire, then, I'll have extreme gratitude from that. So I would rather do it this way than just sell it to someone with money.
And we're very clear here. It's April 2nd, just because obviously it's not every day that a car gets given away. So we've steered clear of April 1st because of that.
I stayed clear of April 1st on purpose because it's April Fool's Day. Yeah. And people would 100% think that I'm full of shit, right? Yeah, totally. I don't know. Anyway, so I stayed clear of April 1st. I did it April 2nd as the date. We're already most of the way there. I mean, I'm sure if you get some of your listeners to jump in, we'll blow past it. It's going to happen. I'm going to go live. I'm going to have a random number generator. I'm going to have a list of everyone that signed up, all my students, and I'm going to click a button. It's going to roll a random die, and it's going to pick a number, and there's going to be a name assigned to that number. It's all going to be live and above board. And someone is going to get the car. Now, the whole thing is you have to take receipt of the car in Miami. So if you're overseas in the UK, you can fly over here and figure out a way to ship it over. But that's going to be the extent of it. I'm going to sign a piece of paper. I'm going to get a lawyer to draft an agreement. It's going to be your gift from me, and I would love to make that happen for somebody.
Well, because the thing is, you have raffle laws and stuff over there that you got to adhere to.
Yeah. We have like anti-raffling laws and things like that. And I don't want this to be a raffle. I want people to honestly be interested in the class, and then out of the goodness of my heart, I want to give away the car. So, I'm not saying that I have to hit 200. I can't do that, and I don't want to. If I lose a little bit less, or I get less than I would have selling it, I don't care. I really, honestly, genuinely want people to take that next step, and I think this is a good motivation for them. Cool. Plus, even if they're already selling, I have a lot of students that are 7-figure sellers already that come in to fill knowledge gaps to really understand a deeper knowledge on keyword research, choosing the right products, things like that. So regardless of where you're at, if you're just beginning or a 7-figure seller, you'll get something out of the class.
Sounds good. Guys, thanks for joining us. Brandon, thank you for joining us. If this is your first time, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you again in the next few days. Take care.